Even Floyd, like when you make yourself like we got issues on your anger, he's still the best fighter out there. Until somebody beat him, that's who he is.
Do you think he should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
So the money's really gone?
Yeah, that's what you think. It's fight, get the money, spend the money, fight.
All that money?
It's been 2 years.
So is it just his overhead is so high on a day-to-day, month-to-month? Like
I don't even want to talk about it. Like with the lifestyle, that money's gone, trust me. Now it's like, you call him, he'll be at your local hosting in a nightclub because you need that action right now.
Wow.
Are Floyd's comments potentially in breach of contract? He could blow the whole fight up and never fight and also have taken a cash advance on the fight he may not ever have. He's broke. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Floyd is so badly hurting for money that this is the stuff he's doing. Knowingly signing contracts for a pro fight just to go and publicly undermine it while taking a cash advance. Essentially going, cool, I need that money now.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. is now facing growing financial pressure after reports confirmed that the Internal Revenue Service has filed a lien against him for unpaid taxes totaling approximately $7.3 million from the years 2018 and 2023.
Weather is being targeted by the IRS over unpaid taxes, with some of his properties and assets being held on lien until the full balance is paid off. And if not, said assets will be fully taken away. This report comes from Business Insider, but is also now being reported by Ring Magazine, in which they reveal that the IRS has filed a lien versus Mayweather in Las Vegas, currently putting a hold on Mayweather's Vegas property due to unpaid taxes stemming from 2018 and 2023 that have now ballooned to $7.3 million.
This is no minor issue being blown out of proportion, as this situation involving Floyd Mayweather Jr. has escalated into a serious federal action, with the Internal Revenue Service stepping in to place restrictions on assets tied to him in Las Vegas. And if the outstanding balance is not resolved, those properties could ultimately face seizure.
Talking this trash because he wants to rematch. You think he has to?
Absolutely.
You think he wants to rematch?
Look, another reason why he's crawled out of his rock, he needs money.
You think he needs money?
Absolutely.
He's always flossy.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
Again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely. Look, he's not fighting anymore, so that big money's not coming in. Look at what happened to Mike Tyson. He made what, $500 million?
Right.
You think you can't spend $500 million overnight? Absolutely.
What makes the situation even more alarming is the timing, as these developments involving Floyd Mayweather Jr. are coming to light at a moment when serious questions are already circulating around his business activities and the highly anticipated rematch with Manny Pacquiao.
Mayweather's broke. I said, no. He's like, no, really. Mayweather's broke. Now, I don't know if it's true.
Right.
This is what this guy told me. I'm like, how could he be broke? He's like, yo, he spends like crazy.
Yeah.
Spends like
I
crazy.
mean, it only could go but so long. I mean, and you're not fighting.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Mayweather even doing any goofy like that.
But you would think that your investments would continue to grow.
Right.
As long as you keep your...
Although Floyd Mayweather Jr. has publicly labeled the rematch as an exhibition, reports suggest that the agreements signed for the bout with Manny Pacquiao indicate it is structured as a professional fight. And if those terms are not honored, it could lead to serious legal complications, while additional claims suggest he may have used the same fight agreement to secure a loan, raising even more concerns about what is really happening behind the scenes financially.
That's what he's feeling, but he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure?
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight, okay. Yeah, because I know he said...
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or not.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
Is Fear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening then.
He has to remember that.
But it's still on? It's still happening?
Oh yeah, we did sign the contract already, so there's no reason why,
Why wouldn't?
Yeah.
At the same time, several branded gym locations linked to Floyd Mayweather Jr. have reportedly shut down amid disputes over unpaid wages and rent, and in one notable case, Manny Pacquiao is said to have taken over one of those locations and relaunched it under a new identity, while employees have allegedly staged protests over missed payments, adding even more pressure to an already deeply complicated situation.
Mayweather says that he suffered enormous financial harm and is missing at least $340 million from a reported $1.2 billion that he actually earned in his professional fight career.
Oh my goodness. 340? Who I got a swing on?
I mean,
What that?
Ocho, that's in addition. So he's reporting that they boosted, however they did it, 340, but he earned 1.2. So that's 1.5.
Damn.
Multiple parties now appear to be involved in the situation surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr., ranging from the Internal Revenue Service to business associates and investors, all seemingly seeking answers and clarity. And for someone who spent years building a global image around financial dominance and control, this development places that reputation under intense scrutiny.
Everybody. I boxed everybody. And it's so crazy. Like, I had a lot of great days. I had a lot of bad days in the gym. But I tell them I never have bad paydays.
Dimitri Salita told me a story that one time a known heavyweight challenged you. You told Leonard to go get your bag and you dropped him with the body shot.
In a boxing gym, it don't count. You can have good days, you can have bad days. A lot of times guys do good in the gym. They be happy. They feel like if you're doing good with Floyd Mayweather in the gym, oh, I want a world title. Well, you got to really look at this now. Slow down. You go home to an apartment. I go home to a palace. There's a difference.
Now, Floyd.
When you say your name, when they say these fighters' name, they say thousands and millions. When you say Money Mayweather,
The lack of any public response from Floyd Mayweather Jr. or his legal team only deepens the uncertainty surrounding the situation, as there are too many moving parts and none of them appear simple to resolve. And whether this is quietly settled behind closed doors or escalates into a much larger legal conflict, it stands as one of the most significant off-ring challenges of his entire career.
To the IRS, how much does he owe? It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right.
You know
I've
what's
given
not
you
good?
$25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Just as everything begins to resemble a legal storm closing in around Floyd Mayweather Jr., Timothy Bradley Jr. steps in with a completely different perspective, suggesting that the situation may actually be a calculated move, as he breaks it down from a fighter's mindset by explaining that advance payments can be used as leverage when structured correctly. And in his view, shifting the format of a fight does not necessarily signal chaos, but could instead reflect strategic positioning.
They did that, but you can put a non-refundable attachment on this and be like, all right, hey, I need an advancement for training. I need $3-4 million or whatever for training expenses. And if they agree to say yeah, and he put in a contract that is non-refundable,
that idea fits the pattern often associated with Floyd Mayweather Jr., as while many observers interpret the situation as confusion, Timothy Bradley Jr. suggests he may be operating several steps ahead by managing pressure, balancing obligations, and adapting his plans to his current stage in the sport. But even Bradley recognizes the complexity, noting that if a contract has been signed for a professional bout, it carries significant legal weight, and attempting to alter those terms midway is not something that can happen without serious consequences.
Free money. So we know, Mayweather was, it's been reported, I should say, allegedly, that, he's been a little upside down on some of his taxes and some of his properties. And he needed to come back and fight and take care of that. Well, he got some cheese from that event.
So now a clear tension emerges around Floyd Mayweather Jr., where on one side he may be operating as a strategist and businessman, while on the other the system still expects him to deliver as a fighter, and that clash is where things start to become unpredictable, as Timothy Bradley Jr. even suggests that some of the financial pressure may already be managed through advance payments, shifting the narrative away from desperation and toward calculated movement. Yet despite that interpretation, external pressure continues to build from the Internal Revenue Service, contractual obligations, and business partners, leaving the real question:
that money he received, I'm pretty out, man. Damn it, I don't know for sure, but damn it, I'm probably about. I know I'm 85, 90%. I'm telling you, because he wouldn't. I don't think he'll be doing this. You know, this is business. So he's just saying, I understand it was a real fight, but now I want to change it. I want to change it now. I got my advancement.
Just as Timothy Bradley Jr. is breaking everything down like a financial blueprint, Shane Mosley steps in with a completely different angle focused on pure fight insight rather than contracts or numbers. And it carries real weight because he has shared the ring with both men, speaking in a cautious tone that suggests experience rather than speculation, as he admits that Floyd Mayweather Jr. may not be quite the same physically anymore, possibly a step slower or more reachable, which naturally opens the door for Manny Pacquiao in many people's minds. But then he balances it by pointing out that Pacquiao could also be dealing with his own challenges in training and conditioning, shifting the discussion away from simple superiority toward who has less wear and tear left, while also revisiting their contrasting styles to highlight exactly why this matchup has always been so difficult to predict.
You know, maybe he's a little bit older and he's not moving as much. And you know that when you get a little bit older, sometimes you have the same foot movements, stuff like that, and you're able to get hit with certain shots. So maybe Manny has a chance to get in there and do some stuff. But Manny also has seemed like some complications with, I don't know if he had some kind of stroke or something in the sparring, something like that. I thought I seen. So, I mean, there's stuff going on with him too as well. So, yeah, you know, we will see.
Manny Pacquiao brings relentless pressure, constant movement, and high punch output, while Floyd Mayweather Jr. operates more like a real-time problem solver who adjusts and calculates as each round unfolds. And when Shane Mosley describes Floyd as the more difficult stylistic puzzle, but Manny as the heavier puncher, it completes the contrast. One fighter breaks opponents mentally, the other tests them physically, with Mosley also reflecting on the moment he managed to hurt Floyd and the sense that opportunities against him rarely come twice. And when that same lens is applied today, the context shifts entirely as both fighters are older with slower reflexes and far narrower margins for error, making it clear this is no longer the same matchup despite familiar names. And the real question is not who they once were, but what they still have left.
Well, the harder puncher was Manny Pacquiao, but the most difficult was Mayweather.
Okay.
As far as, you know, his IQ. He had a better IQ, but Manny had a harder working, you know, repetition where he'll come at you. He's working hard. He's trying to get you. Whereas Mayweather's more technical and will sit there and...
Shane Mosley lays everything out from a fighter's perspective. And then Manny Pacquiao enters the discussion with a very different tone. Calm, steady, and fully composed, with no hype or unnecessary noise. Only quiet confidence as he speaks about discipline, faith, and humility before shifting directly to the core issue, making it clear in simple terms that the agreement was for a real fight and the money has already been accepted, not presented as drama or speculation, but as straightforward fact. And that's what gives it weight, because while others continue to debate possibilities, Pacquiao treats the situation as already settled in his mind, leaving little room for the idea that it could turn into an exhibition without raising serious questions.
If you ask me, as a boxer, I don't need somebody to push me to work hard, work more, but I did. I always put that in my mind when I'm in training. I have to do extra mile to get.
Manny Pacquiao continues with the same composed energy. No excuses, no confusion, just complete clarity. And that consistency makes his position difficult to dispute. as he stays calm rather than emotional, while also describing intense training sessions where he is preparing as if this is a full-scale war instead of a showcase event, creating a striking contrast between ongoing discussions about adjustments or possible changes on one side and a fighter fully locked into real preparation on the other. And that is where the situation shifts beyond contracts or money into something deeper, commitment. And Pacquiao makes it clear he is already fully invested.
Of exhibition that was long time ago, year after our first fight, but I didn't agree. And then I want a real fight. So he signed what I signed. He signed a real fight, and I signed a real fight, and he got his advance. So there's no reason to make excuses of that. So that's true.
When stepping back and viewing everything together, the situation no longer feels like a single storyline, but something layered, complex, and difficult to ignore. With financial pressure involving Floyd Mayweather Jr., the involvement of the Internal Revenue Service, and ongoing contract debates all raising serious questions behind the scenes. Before Timothy Bradley Jr. reframes the discussion by suggesting it could be calculated strategy rather than chaos, only for Shane Mosley to bring it back to reality by emphasizing that physical limits still matter regardless of business precision. And then Manny Pacquiao steps forward with a calm, unwavering approach, stating facts without defense or emotion, leaving the entire situation less about speculation and more about who is actually prepared to stand by what was originally agreed.
We all look forward to that fight. I mean, he signed a real fight, and he got his advance. So then now makes excuses, no?
Business versus obligation, strategy versus expectation, and legacy versus reality all collide around Floyd Mayweather Jr., as he appears to be trying to control the narrative by adjusting terms and protecting his position in the way he has always done. But this time the environment surrounding him is far more complex, with too many moving pieces, too many observers, and significantly higher stakes, where every decision carries legal, financial, and public consequences involving bodies like the Internal Revenue Service and broader contractual scrutiny, making this feel less like a standard event and more like a situation where pressure is coming from all directions rather than just across the ring, raising the question of not only whether the fight actually happens, but what version of Floyd is really being seen now, while Manny Pacquiao remains steady, focused, and unchanged. And that contrast only intensifies the entire picture.
I'm doing exhibitions, and I'm making 20, 25 million, 100 million for exhibitions. So why would I come back and fight and get a guaranteed 35 million when I'm doing exhibitions?
Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.